Hello and welcome. It's your boy Jack here to do another reaction video. This time I'll be reacting to Stogie, and the track I'll be reacting to is titled Love and War, featuring Lucille Slade. I had no idea who Stogie was until I finally did a reaction to his Sway in the Morning performance, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait to actually check out. Sorry about that. I lost my train of thought. So anyway, as I was saying, I really enjoyed his Sway in the Mornings freestyle. So I was actually really curious about his work, his discography, and someone pointed out this track. I should try this for size, and you know what? We're gonna go right in and check it out. And I guess we'll just see how that goes. So, without further ado, let's get this reacting party started. This is Stogie T featuring Lucille Slade, and the title of the song is Love and War. I guess begin.
Yeah. Yeah. Light skin, thin, slight build, he took a liking. This a lightning striking, twice sting. Wife, kids back at home, can't judge him, no nigga, life's real.
Okay.
Might think he a Casanova, he a Viking. Different time, he was fighting wars against the fascists. Live or die, calculate the odds, it was frightening. Silver line, somewhere in the clouds, real love lives. Finish line, one of them would die, these are not wins. Love and war like twins with similar feels. The champions of the free, a prisoner still. She couldn't wait 10 years, a woman must live. He put that pain in his tears and couldn't forgive. The radical militant womanizer saved the movement, turn a blind eye to and sanitize stature. All the structures that might fracture when the sculptures of icons are patched up afterwards.
Kings and queens for life, never forget you're a daughter of his might. Never small, you are a king and queen in this life. Never forget you're a son who brings more light in a save a nation. Oh, bring on the trumpet sounds. Oh, bring on the trumpet.
All right, so I was just waiting to the end of the chorus before I actually go into breaking down the verse. I mean, so far, I cut some stuff over there. I think when he goes light skin thing, slight build. He took a liking. This is a lightning striking twice thing. So basically, what he's talking about, based on everything, like he's a Casanova, he's a Viking, all that stuff. So basically, what's happened over here is like this is a guy, a fighter. I'm guessing it has to do with the fight for to end apartheid in South Africa. So he's a fighter. He's out there doing the guerrilla work and everything, and he has his family at home. He goes out to fight for the freedom, and along the way, he actually meets someone who he falls in love with, which is the whole lightning strike twice thing. Is like lightning strike twice is very rare, so I'm guessing he has a family and he loves the family, and he sees this person, he falls in love with this person, and starts this whole family thing. So there you go. You have that. Then he's like, think his life is real. You might think he's a Casanova, but he's a Viking. So you might think he's a Casanova, but yeah, as you all know who Casanova is, he's a legendary guy who sleeps around with women and whatnot. But at the same time, I was like, he might be a Casanova. You might think he might be a Casanova, but he's more of a Viking. And you know what Viking is? It's just it's a term that goes basically means pillage, basically pirates. So and they go around creating havoc and whatnot. He's more of a guy who creates havoc than actual, Casanova, or at least his actions causes this massive pillaging, so to speak. So it's very interesting what's actually happening over there. And then you have the whole line about sanitizing lines, sanitizing the image of whatever. It's basically you have all this people out there who are in the forefront, the leaders of the freedom movements and everything, and they're the. It's sort of a balancing act to weigh their actions against their personal life, and it's basically, if it's some, it's weighing the greater good against their own personal life. So in this case, this guy's fighting for the freedom of his people, and at the same time he's out there sleeping with someone else. So you have to sanitize that whole aspect of his life in order to promote what he's actually doing as a whole, for the betterment of everyone. But in the end, ultimately, if I'm not mistaken, what it says there, there's still like, hold on, I gotta take it back. I'm talking too much. Let's just take it a little bit back. I think I'm missing something there.
When the sculptures of icons are patched up afterwards.
and queens,
When a
for
sculpture.
life, never forget you're a daughter.
Okay, so basically, and sanitize stature, all the structures that might fracture when the sculptures of icon are patched up after. So basically, you sanitizing the image of this person, others actually promotes what they actually stand for, even though it's filled with cracks. It's not really as simple and clean as you would expect. It's like, basically what he's saying is that these fighters have flaws, and the only way to actually get things done is by sanitizing those flaws and promoting the ideal, this ideal that they were actually fighting for. So that's very interesting. All right, so let's just continue with the chorus.
His might never small you are a king and queen in this life. Never forget you're a son who brings more light in a save a nation. Oh, bring on the trumpet sound. Oh, bring on the trumpet.
Okay, I just realized something. I actually think I know the sample they actually use, which is very interesting. Um, yeah, I just realized the song sounded familiar. I think it's the prison song by, I don't remember his name. I think it's Tommy something. I don't remember. If you guys know, let me know in the comments down below. So basically, the song, the original song was talking about people trying struggling for freedom who are in prison, and here it seems he's actually talking about, it's sort of like a part two to that song. It's basically talking about, because from what I gather, it says, hold on, the champions of the free are prisoners still. So basically, even though after they've succeeded in their endeavors, they're still prisoners to things happening. So he's talking on the perspective of those who've actually attained freedom, and yet they're still struggling because they're still trapped in whatever political, whatever quagmire the whole system is, because it's really, really hard to actually make changes to a structure that has been going on for years. Something more or less along that line. So let's just continue.
The brave stories in the history books, but slain soldier uniform and dirty laundry's what the widow took. Love child with the village hooker, the scandals hidden in the nook. Hush now, nigga shush.
I love that line. It's the brave stories in the history book, but slain soldiers, uniform and dirty. Yeah, so basically, it's like you have the heroes are in the history book, but the slain soldiers, those who died in the battle, their widows, all they end up with are dirty soldier uniforms, and that is wow. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's just take it back.
Scandals hidden in the nook. Hush now, nigga shush. Medals for bravery, bronze star for the crook. Alienated the all child they forsook. He looks like him, but he don't get a look. You judge him, but soon they will salute the freedom fighting. Titan, hero, knight and shining, camouflage, battle scarred, and everybody pulls a struggle card. Cause from afar there's some charm in the mushroom cloud, but when the dust settles, that's still an atom bomb.
Okay, so basically, there go the whole part of people pulling the struggle card. It's like they always use the struggle card. I guess basically what he's saying, some people use the struggle card as a reason to excuse the stuff they actually do, when in reality that's not really the problem there. And also, I love the fact that he talks about the mushroom cloud. Yes, when there's a mushroom cloud, it looks beautiful, it looks very interesting, it's something out of this world, but once it drops, things are not going to be good. So okay, so basically, so what we're getting here, if I'm not mistaken, he's talking about the cost and effect of war and love. It's like here he was talking about a freedom fighter falls in love and things don't really end well. He leaves his family or he ends up with someone else and he starts a whole new family, and in the end that didn't work out. Basically, it's a mess. That's what he's talking about in Love and War. It's like things happen. You have freedom fighters having kids with people and they can't acknowledge them and all that. Oh, it's he's just showing to us the devastation that happens when people fight war. Regardless of what the cause is, there are always going to be consequence, and there are always going to be people who are not gonna who are gonna be on the winning side and the losing side. And in his case here, his from what I'm gathering right now, he's talking about even though they've won, they've still lost because things are still the same. It hasn't really changed. It hasn't actually made things better for. In fact, it's actually gotten worse. So it's like it's a very murky thing. It's like, okay, you're fighting a war for freedom. You win. Who rules? What are the rules? How are you going to do it? Because usually you only fight at that point in time. Yours is just to be free. And once you win the war, then the reconstruction, you have to now figure out who's going to lead, figure out what you're going to do, and that creates its own sets of problems. And if you're not careful, you could end up creating a situation whereby you end up in a worse situation than you were in initially. It may look as though you're free, but you're actually in a prison that is much more sinister. So that's my take on that. And I know I'm jumping ahead, but that's what I'm getting from this. Let's get it.
Love and war like a double-edged cutting saw. Martin Luther had a floozy, Hoover was recording. My papa died for a freedom that I now enjoy, but left some frightening demons we ain't recover from. What?
All right, so we had the Hoover and Luther line. Well, because we all know Hoover, when he was had the directorship of, when he was the director of the FBI, actually did record Martin Luther talking about women that he had on the side. I don't think they actually had actual recordings of him actually being with someone, but he was actually talking about that to a couple of people in different hotel rooms, and there were recordings of that. So everyone assumes, maybe rightly so, that Martin Luther King had extramarital affairs while he was actually fighting for the freedom, for the equal opportunity of the blacks. So basically, it ties into the whole story I just said, as a statement I made earlier. It's like you have, I forgot what else. Wow, I just lost my train of thought there. So I'm going to pause it for a second. I was going to talk about the sanitizing of this historical freedom fighting persona. It's like you have him, it ties to the first verse where you have this person who has done all this extramarital whatever, and how do you sort of reconcile with it? You have someone like Martin Luther King who was out there fighting for equality, and at the same time he was having extramarital affair. So it basically paints all these freedom fighters as human with foibles, and you have to determine whether or not their transgression can actually overshadow the good that they have performed, the good that they've done in their lives. So basically, freedom fighters are humans. They make mistake, but let's not use that to, their mistake shouldn't be the defining moments of their lives. And also, he did state, my papa died for freedom. Yes, I do remember something about him. His dad actually died during the fight, but left some frightening demons we ain't recover from, obviously. As I said, things are a bit murky. It's like You won the war, but it's not as clean cut as you actually thought. Those who you expect to actually do right by you, now that they have powers, they're basically almost as bad as those they actually oppressed, more or less. This is complicated. I am talking too much, and that's why I hate doing political stuff. But I really like this. I really love the message it's trying to send, and I can't wait to get to the end. So let's go.
For life, never forget you're a daughter of His might. Never small, you are a king and queen in this life. Never forget you're a son who brings more light. Here to save a nation. Oh, bring on the trumpet sounds. Oh, bring on the trumpet
I love the riffs, the guitar riffs here. Lovely. Okay. Yeah, that's the prison song. All right. Okay, so that was Dougie T performing Love and War. And as I did say, I'm going to try to summarize what I was saying throughout the reaction, even though I did it poorly. Uh, Basically, what's happening here is I like the correlation between this and the song sample, which is Prison of War by Tommy something. Is it Butler? Where he's talking about the prisoners actually singing songs about trying to be free. And in this case, Stogie T actually took this sample and made it about people freedom fighters actually succeeding. And now we're being introduced to all the mess that particular freedom created. You know, the trying to summarize this, and I'm having a hard time doing it. This is ridiculous. All right, let me try this one more time, and if I can, I'm just going to end it right now. So the prison song is talking about those who are dreaming of freedom, and Love and War it's talking about things after the freedom has been achieved. You know, so I really love the chorus. You can think of it as part two. It's like the prison song is the part one, and Stogie T's Love and War is part two. It's a continuation of the song. It's like this person is as an apartheid is struggling to get free, finally manages to get free, and this is a continuation of that story and all the mess that it pertains, and in order to achieve that freedom. And again, as I said, it's also talking about love and war in times of war. How do you reconcile the choices made by these so-called freedom fighters, those who saved the movements, those who are prominent in the movement and who spearheaded the movement, who are the face of the movement. And then once you a little bit deeper, you realize that they're humans, they've made mistakes and whatnot. It's like, what do? Do you let that take away from their achievements? Or do you just sanitize it and stick to what the primary focus of the movement, what the movement was all about? Would you let their personal shortcomings take away from their overall goal? And that's a very interesting question, I think it puts over there. And it's, again, as I said, it was like you have these freedom fighters, then you have them having kids left and right, out of wedlock, not taking care of them. It's like, do you let that affect everything that they've done? This is my take on it. I might be wrong. I do apologize, but it's very heavy. Even though it's a very short track, it's actually very dense, and it's messing with my head trying to, you know, sanitize it out, trying to explain what it actually makes me feel. I guess I have to go back and listen to the song one more time and see. Maybe that would actually clear things up for me and expand on what's actually been talked about. It's a very interesting song. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I got a chance to actually check it out. I definitely will be checking out more Stogie T songs, but I think I would have to do a bit more research on his tracks rather than going blind, because this is, told ya, it's pain. I'm enjoying it, but still at the same time, it's like, I need to know more. So there we go. I'll have to learn more. All right. So with that said, this is your boy Jack. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button. Let you know when next I drop a new video. Don't forget to leave comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want me to react to. And if you've got nothing to say, just say, hey, that's absolutely okay. And if you disagree with what I said during this reaction video or wish to expand, please go right ahead, expand on what I have said. All I ask is that you know, be constructive about it, because that's very important. You know, it's history. It's talking about history. We all learn. It's different cultures and all that stuff. It's always great to hear your own perspective of things or how you see things. I'm seeing it from a different perspective, from a different culture. So it will be absolutely awesome if you guys can actually let me know what you think about the song and, you know, expand my mind, so to speak. So with that said, this is your boy Jack. Y'all take care, and I will catch you on the flip side.